Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamu alaikum, dear students. Welcome again to my channel. Today we're going to discuss the new topic from the new chapter, chapter number 14, the reproduction. So we have selected the topic which is sexual reproduction in plant. In previous grades, we have discussed about, we have learned about the reproduction. And as you people know that for the continuation of the life, the reproduction process is very important, right? So we have two basic type of reproduction. One is asexual reproduction and another one is sexual reproduction. So as the word indicates, sexual mean there is involvement of the gametes, right? So we have two type of gametes, the male gamete and the female gamete, right? So the male gamete is known as the sperm, right, while the female gamete is known as egg, right? So we are going to discuss the sexual reproduction in the plant. So plants also do sexual reproduction. They also produce gametes like sperm and eggs, right? So here we have written like these fern, mosses and the seed plant. We have categorized the plants into three basic categories, right? So the first one is the fern and mosses, and the next one is seed plant, right? The fern and mosses are the non-vascular plant. They do not contain proper vascular system, right? While the seed plants, they contain the proper vascular system. It means they contain the proper xylem and phloem for the conduction of the food and the water, right? So in fern and mosses, like we have gametes, but in fern and mosses, the plant use water for bringing the sperm and egg cell together. In fern and mosses, sperms are motile in nature. It means they have flagella. They move with the help of this flagella toward the egg with the help of water, with the help of current of water, with the help of waves of water, right? It moves toward the egg. Understand? And therefore, these plants require water in the form of rain, in the form of dew for sexual reproduction. On the other hand, we have seed plants, and again we have divided the seed plant into two major groups, which is angiosperm and gymnosperm, right? So angiosperm, sperm means seed, right? So angiosperm are flowering plants. They produce flower, and gymnosperm are cone bearing plant. Like conifers, they are gymnosperms. They produce cones instead of flower. Understand? So in angiosperm, the seed is enclosed in the fruit, while in gymnosperm, the seed is naked, right? So in gymnosperm and angiosperm, there is a special method for carrying the sperm to eggs. So they do not need water for the reproduction. So this is very important point. In fern and mosses, we need water for the transportation of gametes, the transportation of sperm toward the egg, right? While in seed plant, there is no need of water. They follow the different method for the transportation of sperm toward the egg. So later on, we will discuss that process. So now we have the two generations. Let's discuss the generation of the plant. In plant reproduction, we have two basic generation. The first one is known as sporophyte or sporophytic generation. Another we have the gametophyte or gametophytic generation. As the word indicates, sporophyte, sporo means spores and phyte means plant. So that plant which produce spore, while gametophyte, that plant which produce gametes. Understand? So the plant body, in some cases, the plant body is known as sporophyte, and that is dominant in nature, right? So sporophytes produce haploid spores with the help of meiosis. So we're going to write here meiosis. Sporophyte undergo meiosis and they produce haploid spores, while these haploid spores undergo mitosis and they produce the gametes. Gametophyte. Mitosis. Understand? So they produce gametophyte. Now this gametophyte again undergo division and they undergo mitotic division. Which sort of division? Mitotic division. and they produce two type of gametes, the male gamete and the female gamete. So they are haploid in nature, right? They are haploid in nature. So this is, for example, we have egg, and this is, for example, we have sperm. Understand? So these gametes, when unite, they form a zygote, which would be 2n, mean diploid in nature. Here the number of chromosome is double, and this zygote undergo successive mitotic division and they produce sporophyte. Understand? So in plant life cycle, we have two type of generation, the sporophytic generation and gametophytic generation. So in the life cycle of the plant, these two generations alternate with each other, right? So this is known as alternation of generation. The phenomena in which two different generations alternate with each other during this life cycle is known as alternation of generation. Now we will discuss the sexual reproduction in flowering plant. Now moving toward the sexual reproduction in flowering plant, right? So in flowering plant, the entire plant is sporophyte, right? So sporophyte means the plant contains root, stem and leaves. So flowers are the reproductive part of the flowering plant. So here we have divided the sexual reproduction into following stages which take place in the flowering plant. The first one is the development of gametophyte. So we have two type of gametophyte generation, like the male gametophyte and the female gametophytic plant, the male part and the female part. So both of these, male and female, develop in the flower, right? Now the female gametophyte is also known as embryo sac. Now look at this diagram. Here this is the flower, and here we have the following part of the flower: the sepals, the petals, the third hole is known as androecium, which is the stamen, and anther and filament, which is also known as stamen, and the fourth hole is known as gynoecium, right? So its unit is known as carpel. So we can say that the gynoecium or carpel is the female part of the plant, right? While the anther and filament, which is shown with this yellow marker, this is known as male reproductive part. So here we have the female reproductive part consists of the stigma and the stalk, which is known as style, and the basal part is known as ovary. So inside the ovary we have many ovules. So these ovules later on become seed. Understand? So inside the ovary there are one to many ovules. It depends on the species of the plant, right? So inside each ovule, one haploid megaspore is produced through meiosis. So one thing must remember that the different flowers have one to many carpels. Different flowers have one to many stigma, style and ovary, which is collectively known as carpel, right? So these may either be fused or free. So this is very important point, that different flowers have one to many carpels. So they may either be fused or free. Now moving toward our topic, which is how gametophyte, the female gametophyte, is produced. So we have taken this ovule which is produced inside the ovary, right? So this ovule is also known as megasporangium. So we have taken this ovule, and inside the ovule, which contain megaspore mother cell, right? So inside the ovule we have the megaspore mother cell, which is diploid in nature. Understand? Now this megaspore mother cell, we use the megaspore for the female part, female spores, and we can also call it macrospores, macro, macrospores, right? So mega and macro both terms are used for the female spores. Understand? Female part. So this megaspore mother cell, which is diploid in nature, here the number of chromosomes is double, right? So they undergo meiosis and they produce 4 megaspores. Look at the diagram. Here I have shown only one cell, which is megaspore mother cell. This undergo meiosis and they produce the 4 megaspores. Meiosis 1 and meiosis 2, right? So out of these 4, the 1 remain functional and 3 degenerate, right? And now this 1 remain functional megaspore or macrospore undergo 3 successive mitotic division. Now, for example, here we have one macrospore or megaspore, right? This undergo mitosis and will produce the 2 cell, right? Again, each cell undergo mitosis and produce the 4 cell. And again, these 4 cells undergo mitosis and produce the 8 cell, right? So inside one megaspore, there is 3 successive mitotic division and they produce 8 nuclei, right? So 8 nuclei cell is now known as the female gametophyte or embryo sac. Now these 8 cells arrange themselves in such a way that the 2 cells lie in the center and they fuse together and they form the fusion nucleus, right? And the 3 cell here and 3 cell here, among this, 1 form the egg and the remaining are non-functional. The remaining 5 cells, for example 3 here and 2 here, these 5 are non-functional in nature, right? Now this 7th structure cell is known as female gametophyte, or we call it what? Embryo sac. Now moving toward the next development, which is the development of male gametophyte. Now moving toward the male gametophyte, or male gametophyte is also known as pollen grain. So the male gametophyte or pollen grain, they both, we call it what, the same name for the single thing, right? The male gametophyte or pollen grain. So they develop from the microspore. Now look at this. This is the male reproductive part, anther and filament, right? So this is the free end and this is a sac-like structure. This anther contains 4 pollen sacs, right? So this red portion, the outline I have shown this, the anther. Inside the anther we have pollen sacs, right? This anther contains 4 pollen sacs. So pollen sacs is also known as microsporangia, right? So each of which contain many diploid microspore mother cell. So for example, if I am taking this one, right? So look at this diagram. Here I have shown this anther and inside the anther we have 4 pollen sac sporangium. Pollen sac or microsporangium, right? So they are diploid in nature. So 4 microsporangium are produced inside the anther and we have taken 1 pollen sac, right? So look at this, each microspore mother cell, right? They contain microspore mother cell, which is diploid in nature. Each pollen sac contain microspore mother cell. Each pollen sac contain the diploid microspore mother cell, right? So each microspore mother cell again undergo meiosis and they will produce 4 cells. And this 4 cell is known as microspores. 1 microspore mother cell produce 4 microspores. Now this 4 microspores, each one undergo mitosis and they form a 2 cell structure which is known as pollen grain. Look at the diagram. So each of this microspore, here we have the 4 microscope. So each one undergo mitosis and the nuclei divide into 2 and they will form a 2 cell structure which is now called pollen grain, or the another name of this pollen grain is known as male gametophyte. So the one cell is known as the tube cell, which later on form the pollen tube after pollination, right? While the next one is known as generative cell. This generative cell will form the two sperms. So, hope you understand the male gametophyte. Here we have the anther. They produce the 4 pollen sac or microsporangium, and each microsporangium form the microspore mother cell, right? So, the microspore mother cell, which is diploid in nature, undergo meiosis and form the 4 haploid microspores, right? So, each microspore undergo mitosis and form the 2 cell structure, which is later on known as pollen grain, and each contain tube cell and generative cell. So, the tube cell later on form the pollen tube and the generative cell form the 2 sperm. So, this tube cell, which will later on form the pollen tube, will help to transport the sperm towards the egg, right? So, the pollen grain is known as male gametophyte, which is produced from the microspores. Now, the next step is the pollination, right? So, when the pollen grains mature, they are transferred to the stigma of the female part. So, this transfer of pollen from anther to the stigma of the flower, this is known as pollination. So, here we have 2 types of pollination, the self-pollination and cross-pollination. The first one is known as the self-pollination, another one we have the cross-pollination, right? So, the pollination in which there is only one flower involvement, right? Or the flowers on the same plant. For example, look at this diagram. Here I have tried to show this type of phenomena with the help of this rough diagram. Say, simply this is a single flower. Here we have the female reproductive part, stigma, style and ovary, and the male reproductive part, which is stamen like anther and filament, right? So the pollens transfer from this anther to the stigma of the same flower. This is known as self-pollination. Or another case where there is transfer of pollens from the anther of one flower to the stigma of another flower, but of same plant. The plant should be the same, right? So this is known as self-pollination. On the other hand, we have cross-pollination. In contrast, the pollination that involve the 2 flowers, right, of different plant of the same species. For example, here we have this flower and this flower. There are 2 different plants, right? So this transfer of pollen from this flower to the stigma of the another plant or the another flower, but of the same species. For example, this is a rose and this is a rose. There is a settlement of the pollens from this rose plant to this stigma of this plant, right? But the species is same. Both should be rose, right? If the flower is different, there would be no fertilization, right? For example, if there is settlement of the pollen of the rose on the stigma of another species, right? If the species are different, there would be no fertilization take place, right? Now, moving toward the third stage, which is fertilization. When this pollen grain mature, they are transferred to the stigma. This is known as pollination, right? Now, this pollen set on the stigma of the flower, and during this settlement, the tube cell of the pollen grain develop into pollen tube, and the another cell, which is known as generative cell, form the 2 sperm nuclei, right? So now the one sperm fuse with the egg, and these 2 sperms move down through the pollen tube, which is constructed with the help of this tube cell. The tube grows through the style and ovary and enters the ovule, where we have studied that there is egg, right? So here it bursts and releases the sperm. So the one sperm fuses with the egg and form the zygote, and another sperm fuses with the fusion nucleus and form the triploid nuclei, which will later on form the endosperm. Look at this diagram. Here we have the mature pollens, right? These pollen grains mature and they transferred their nuclei, the sperm nuclei, with the help of this pollen tube. The tube cell form the pollen tube, which extend downward through this style and ovary and enter into the base through the micropyle. Here we have the micro opening. Here we have the small opening, which is known as micropyle, through which this pollen tube get enter into the ovule, right? Here the two sperm nuclei which move down along this pollen tube and get enter into the ovule. Here we have the one egg, and this one sperm fuses with the egg, they form the zygote, and the another sperm fuse with the fusion nucleus and they form the triploid nuclei. For example, fusion nucleus we have, this is diploid in nature and egg is haploid in nature. When the sperm fuse with the egg, they form zygote. So this fusion of sperm with the egg is known as fertilization, and this sperm later on form along with the sperm and egg, they later on form the zygote, right? When the sperm fuses its egg, they form the zygote and the zygote become 2N, right? Now look at this. One sperm fuses with the egg and form the zygote, which undergo mitotic division and develop into sporophyte, while the other sperm fuse with the fusion nucleus and they form the triploid nucleus, 3N, right? So this triploid nucleus later on form the endosperm, and this endosperm nourishes the embryo, right? The main function of endosperm is to provide nourishment to the embryo, and later on this embryo develop into sporophyte, right? So this is very special type of fertilization. This is known as double fertilization, in which one sperm fused with the egg form the zygote, while the other sperm fused with the fusion nucleus and form the triploid nucleus, right? So this sort of fertilization is known as double fertilization, and this double fertilization is the characteristic of flowering plant only. Now when this fusion take place, this double fertilization take place, the zygote develop into embryo and this endospermic nuclei develop into endospermic tissue, which provide nourishment to that embryo, right? So this, and now the ovule, in which all the stages, all the process has been taken place, this will convert into seed, and inside the seed we have embryo, right? So the ovary wall, this is, for example, this is ovary wall. Outside there is ovary wall. They will later on convert into fruit and the ovule become into seed. Now the ovule when become change into seed and ovary change into the fruit, and when seed become mature, they are dispersed, right? And they get suitable condition, and when they get suitable condition, the embryo develop into new plant, and which is the sporophyte of the next generation. So this was whole about the sexual reproduction in flowering plant. Hope you understand the topic. Kindly like the video and share with your friends. Thank you.